there's Maya.
They are.
She's present.
Hi, Maya.
That doesn't matter.
She's logging on to YouTube.
Yeah, is it on speaker? How do I, oh, right here.
Oh.
There you go. Can you say hello, Maya? Hello?
Hello.
Okay, great, we got you.
Wait.
Yes, I'm just trying to find you guys on YouTube.
Okay, well, we can hear you.
Good.
So is Jerry coming? Yeah, and Bob.
I guess. I have to make this. You know what? Did I give you a call?
Priscilla, which one are you going to present first?
Whatever you want me to do.
Well, we can do the historic Heather Homestead document.
I got all that.
Oh, okay.
If that's okay. I just labeled it one.
I guess I'm not using a laptop. I've tried twice.
Yeah, because the front plan is first and then the barn was second. So you did it right.
So what am I looking for here?
Are you looking on YouTube?
Go to the
Yes.
township website.
Go to the township website.
Oh,
Yeah.
on YouTube.
No, not on YouTube. Go to the township website. And then just click the meeting.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, start at the township website.
Well, I'm not going to be able to do that on my television. So
She's on her TV going to YouTube.
let me go
Good, how are you
I don't
doing?
know how you look it up.
to my computer.
Look like you got a haircut or something. Oh, that one is.
Right, I know, but I don't know how you found the township,
You know Sandy?
or whatever.
No, I didn't. Sandy Miller.
Yeah, Jerry.
Jerry Hall. You guys should be ashamed of yourself, you know that? Where you guys are beating up.
A lot of people don't know that map exists.
Huh?
What
What do
map?
you have to say for yourself? Huh?
I'm not on the team.
You're less than JB's, aren't you?
No.
Aren't you?
Here's another piece.
You play baseball. You gotta keep them apart, man.
I know Cole, his name's all over the sports page. The weight class a little tougher this year, huh?
Violet, how are you doing?
So what I see now,
Yeah, I said it's a little tougher than
friends.
the weight class you had last year.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep, okay, I'm listening to you. Go ahead. What do you see now?
What I see now is the open space plan.
Let's go to
Historic Heather Homestead?
Didn't hear that.
Historic Heller Homestead. This is what? This is
Hang on.
Lower Saucon Township. Once you're on this,
All right. Now
once you're
I've
on
got
this,
the home page.
Laura, where'd you go?
And what do I do now?
Is she on the website?
Okay, so you're at Lower Saucon Township. Go to departments,
And then
Yeah.
Parks and Rec,
and then Parks and Rec.
Yep.
and then there should be a select meetings.
Yeah.
Hold on, scroll down. I don't see anything there.
Okay, go to the council page. So go to the departments and council.
Oops, council.
You can walk meetings. Maybe here.
Recorded
What is here?
meetings.
Council
The
meeting?
schedule may be found here.
Go up to agenda and minutes. Click on that.
Agenda and minutes.
Okay, so then over on the right-hand side, you'll see click here. You click
YouTube
here, the
channel.
first one.
Will this
Yep,
one work?
that
This
will
one
take you
will
right
work.
to YouTube. Yeah, that has all
I
the
mean,
meetings
okay.
on there.
So if you go to departments,
Yep.
under council,
Yep.
you see agenda and minutes.
Yep.
Click on that,
Yep.
and then just scroll down in blue. It says you may watch the council meeting live on our YouTube channel, and hit YouTube channel.
Got it.
And you should be able to see us.
Says 2 watching.
Okay,
There you are.
there we are.
We are live, so you can start the meeting anytime.
Okay, call to order. Roll call. Do I have to take this? I mean, I don't have to keep notes here, right? Phil, I am here. Nilu?
Yes.
Robert? He's not,
He was supposed to show up, so maybe he'll be late.
okay. Jerry? Is she considered here, or Maya?
Yes.
Okay, Maya's here.
But,
Sean is not here. Sandra, our new member.
here,
And do you like Sandy or Sandra?
Sandy's fine.
Sandy? Okay, Sandy. And then our council liaisons, we have Laura Ray, and we have Priscilla De Leon. We have Cole is here, Noah's here, and Violet's here too, our junior council members. And Carol's.
So is somebody else talking?
Yeah, I hear backlash too, but I don't know. I heard myself in your phone, so maybe, I wonder if you have to turn,
Oh,
does she have to
okay,
turn?
Close to that speaker.
Does she have to turn?
It's too close to the speaker.
You know what? You should probably turn your mic on mute unless you want to talk.
okay.
Because I can hear myself in your phone or in Laura's phone. So just put yourself on mute and then until you want to talk, then just unmute and that should take care of the problem.
Great, thanks.
Okay, we have to nominate, we need a chair and a vice chair. Kevin left us. He went to I think he went to zoning, right? He went to zoning. Bigger fish to fry. Nominations. I have a nomination.
I have a nomination. I nominate you for president.
Yeah,
Just turn the microphone.
you gotta turn you gotta say.
Sandy, one thing we need to do, we need to turn the microphones on.
Yes,
when
one
we speak,
minute.
so that it sort of picks it up.
Please speak into the mics.
Okay,
Okey dokey. Yeah, I'd like to make a nomination for Phil
yeah,
to replace.
unfortunately, with my schedule and looking at the schedule of our meetings, I know I can't make 4 this year, so I'm gonna decline on that. But I would nominate Sandy. She's well-versed in leading meetings and things like that, has very good experience. And last time we were here, when I first started a year ago, both Kevin and I were brand new. We were both brand new, and he did a fine job in
Excellent
running it.
job. Excellent job.
second.
I second it.
Will you?
Yeah, I'm not terribly interested, no, thanks. I'm having my hip replaced in 2 months. I'm just not sure that's a good thing for me to be the person to do that. But if,
Would you be willing to be vice?
yes, I'd be willing to do vice. I've never even attended a meeting, so I feel that puts me in a level that's.
I nominate Robert.
I second that.
Okay, he's not here.
I know that Robert's
Yeah, he's not
interested.
here. He's not here.
He said he was coming.
I know, but we don't know that he'd be interested in being nominated, so it's, sorry.
So why don't we just hold off at the end of the meeting to see if he comes, Phil?
Miss Mia, are you interested?
You have to unmute yourself. I don't know if you heard that. Mia.
I did not hear that.
Are you interested to be a chair?
A signal from above.
Mia, are you interested in being the chairperson?
But first of all, my name is Maya.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The way you remember that is Hiya Maya.
Hiya, Maya.
Yeah. So I have too many medical things going on right now. I've lost the entire month of January to illness, and I'm getting ready to start immunoglobulin infusions, and I just am not reliable.
Okay, no, thank you. How would it work if I connect in the way that Maya's connecting? Can would the vice chair would run the meeting then?
That's totally agreed.
Okay. So I'll reconsider. And the possibility exists that.
So maybe.
That I could definitely Zoom. I'm gonna be away June, July, and August, but I would have to Zoom in.
Maybe you and I could split it. We could be co-chairs.
Right now on the floor, Sandy Miller's a new member who has experience with community representation and community groups. I'm glad to be vice if she's willing to be, what's it called? I mean, I'm willing to be chair if she's willing to be vice chair.
I would be amenable to that.
Do you have a second?
Sure.
Okay, so the motion is, Phil, you would be chair, and then Sandy would be vice chair, and then second by Nilu.
Yes.
All in favor?
All in favor.
Any questions first?
Aye.
No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There you go. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, motion carries. Okay, so I guess I'll keep going. You saw the meetings are attached, the minutes are attached. One of the things I'm going to suggest, which I suggested to Kevin, and I'm glad to take notes on this. It can be quite laborsome to read through the entire minutes, but can we pick out if we have an action item? That's what I would like to lift out and have on this cover sheet of who said they were going to do what by our next meeting. So we're going to just extrapolate that information from these. We won't do it now, but I'm willing to keep track of that. And all of us should have our ears open to say, hey, someone said they're going to do something for our next meeting. Who's doing it and what's being done? And it'll save time if you have to read through all the details of the minutes.
I'll do that.
Okay, that's great. That would be great. Any questions on the minutes? Can we have move to accept the minutes as printed?
I so move.
Jerry moves. Second?
Yes.
Nilu, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain since I wasn't at any of them.
Okay,
It
understand.
seems fair.
Yeah. Now tonight we have
Question.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, since Sandy is new, does that mean she assumes Kevin's responsibilities as they relate to the parks?
we probably should review the park update when we get there to see if anybody wants to switch around. That's a good question, thank you. Okay, we have a presentation tonight. And it's gonna be, it's in the packet, but it's also screened for people to see. And Priscilla, you're gonna be the facilitator making a presentation. And this was also attached to the packet at the back. Okay, it's all yours.
Are you more comfortable with the microphone holding it, or do you?
Can you hear me, everybody?
That's great, looks great.
Okay, let me just figure this out for
They're
a minute.
working great, they're working really well.
They sound louder.
Yeah.
And then just let me know when you would
I
like
don't
the
know,
next slide. That's just the pointer.
I know that, but I don't know.
The bottom button, it looks like an asterisk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you press that and it should work.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for having me on your agenda. I want to take this opportunity, and my name is Councilwoman Priscilla DeLeon. With me tonight is Council President Laura Ray, and we have Rick Dussolds in the back. He's on the Conservancy Board. So I'd like to welcome him and thank him for coming.
Will you please speak into the microphone, Priscilla?
How's that? Can you hear me better?
Some. That's better, thank you.
How about we put this down? I wonder if this would help.
Put-
Are you on, and just make sure you're on mute, Maya, when you're not speaking. Do you want to put that closer, maybe?
Okay, so I am here tonight to talk about restoring the Heller Barn at the Heller Homestead Park, and it's including an open space master plan. The Heller Homestead Park is approximately 14 acres, located just off the popular Saucon Rail Trail along the Saucon Creek. We're looking to make it a destination for people. So I would like to start with the Heller Homestead Park. The first slide, I can't see. Okay, wait, go back to the first slide. Okay, the first slide shows the arch, which was our first phase, and it was in 2010 when the Conservancy did that. So that was back to 2010-ish. And then you see the two houses. The smaller one's the widow's house, or the tenant house formerly known as, and the other bigger house is the main house, or the Heller house. Okay, next. So tonight we're here to discuss recommendations, and Lori Almond worked with us back in, to do the first phase. She was working for John Milner Associates at that time. And we we at the Conservancy decided to continue with the people that were the principals back then, even though they work for different people now. We're gonna be going to council on the 19th, and we're gonna ask to approve plans for the Heller Barn Restoration Phase 2, and to prepare an open space master plan for the 14+ acre homestead park along the Saucon Creek, and also authorize Brian Cucker from Hanover Engineering and Douglas Reed, historic structure consultant, to provide advisory technical assistance as needed under the direction of interim manager Kathy Gorman. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, a little bit of a history. The Conservancy, I was one of the founding members. It was founded in 1993. It's a not-for-profit. It's dedicated to work in partnership, and it leases the 2.2 acre tract. Next. Mission statement: it preserves the unique historic and natural environment of the Saucon Valley as educational and recreation. So this definitely meets the mission. Next. Objectives: to restore the property and develop it as an educational and recreational programs and activities for the area. And then, do a capital fundraising campaign. Next slide, please. And again, that's the homestead. Next. That picture was taken by me, unknown date, sorry. And that shows along Friedensville Road, the Heller house, the widow's house, the herb garden, and remnants of the barn ruins. Okay, next slide, please. That's a different angle, and again, it just talks about the ownership and the property. The main house, or the Heller house, was built 1751. It was renovated in 1935 to reflect the popular trends of the colonial revival movement. Next slide, please. It represents one of the few pre-revolutionary colonial American farmsteads in our region. This picture, somebody could see that little car in there and know what year it was to kind of tell you when the picture was taken. But anyway, it shows the magnificent English Lake District stone barn and how it was back then.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So now the remnants are of that barn there behind the tree.
Correct. by the
And-
car.
Okay, and is the desire to get it back to look like that?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we want to recreate it to look exactly like it was,
Yep.
the beautiful English Lake District barn.
And were the stones salvaged?
The stones, well, the ones that didn't walk away and grow feet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Are stored in, you'll see other pictures, and adjacent to the stone barn, there was a wood frame barn. And that was, they had the foundation, so the stones were placed there. So we're gonna see how many we have, we can see where else we can get more if we need them. And we could either rebuild it to its magnificent to the roof, or do it as we have stone, so. Okay, next slide, please. Over the years, the Stevers, like, it was occupied and built by Michael Heller, who is, some credit him as the founder of Hellertown. That's a whole nother story. Then next, the Stevers moved in, and you'll see Stevers spelled S-T-E-A-V-E-R or S-T-E-V-E-R, and he ran a sawmill and a farm. And you can see the wagon and the Stever descendants in there, and that picture was taken in 1915. And you see the widow's house has stucco on it, and it was kind of called a tenant house back then. And the hill going out of Hellertown was called Stever Hill. Next slide, please. The Geyer family, prominent family in the area, lived in the house. I forget the years, but that picture was 1934. And they're the ones that remodeled the house into the American the colonial revival. And that's one of the reasons why it was listed on the National Register. Next slide, please. So the Heller Homestead Park is 13.96 acres. It's located adjacent to the western banks of the beautiful Saucon Creek, west of Hellertown. It's listed on the National Register. There have currently benches and picnic tables. It's fishing. It has an interpretive, which you have the maps. A lot of people do not know about that map. And there's a native trail, if you're interested, with a scenic overlook of the creek. It's very close to the Saucon Rail Trail. And so the links are on our website. So if you're interested, go to Heller Homestead Park. Okay, next, please. We have, I said, the widow's house, which was built in 1850, a root cellar, mid-19th century, and the ruins of a large stone and frame barn built 1790. There's a story behind that, which I will tell later. Remnants of the foundation ruins of two small buildings, a wagon shed and wagon house are located northwest. So the property had all kinds of outbuildings, and some of the pictures show them, and some of them just show foundations. Okay, next, please. And again, that just tells a little bit about the property and the colonial revival movement. Next, please. And then when the Conservancy was co-founded in 1993, we had to figure out what to do with all the rooms. So we decided that we would furnish them per the people that lived there, for the years that they lived there. So the kitchen was from the 50s. If I remember, the Norwickis lived there then. I don't remember the next one was the living room, like, the cigarette smoking living room. And then there was a Victorian living room. The furniture everything was donated. And then there's a bedroom from the, I believe, 1700s. Next, please. Also, the widow's house is also period furnished. So that's kind of quaint inside there. Next slide, please. The root cellar is my favorite, I think, mid-19th century. So go ahead, next slide. And the herb garden, which usually was found on a farmstead. Go ahead. And then some activities from the homestead. We had an art gallery, and there was art exhibits. Next slide. We had young artist exhibits. We partnered with the school district and had their art classes, and they did an exhibit. It was really, really fun, and wish it could happen again. But anyway, okay, next slide, please. And then there were reenactments, and they would come set up tents for in April and November, and do cookouts and see the ruins in the background. Next slide, please. So the SVC would like to improve the Heller Barn ruins to make them more safe and accessible to the public. And I don't want to read out the whole thing, but, you know, have it more for the community, like to have movie nights there, exercise classes, weddings, you know, photographs, all kinds of, it's the limit, you know, whatever you want. And the stone barn ruins have the potential to provide 1,500 square feet of unique outdoor gathering space. Inside the barn would be capable of seating 75 people. Okay, next slide, please. I have two requests. This is the first one. And it would be to request a letter of support from this board to support the initiative. And so, you know, open to suggestions, recommendations, and to support this. And next slide. And does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, in the presentation that Carol sent out, there's the grants. Was that to be tied in with this funding for this?
We have the open space money.
DCNR grants.
No, that has nothing to do with this project at the moment. I'm not saying in the future it might not.
Yeah, no, I thought
there's open space money that we all, you know, paid, and they changed the regs. And there's a letter on the table from Clemens, and on the next slide, I'll tell you more about that. But money's available there to fund this part.
I'm sorry?
Yes. Thanks, Carol.
I have one question.
Yes, what?
So you talk about preparing plans and then
You're gonna have
prepare
to
the
speak
site
into
plan?
that, yeah, because it's being recorded. That's really.
Thought I was close enough. I apologize to everyone. So where you have under number 1, you have A and B. Do we have any budget or any idea what those two things will be?
This is brand new off the block. So we're going to council on the 19th. And so we're hitting the boards. So next we're going to the EAC to get support. And then we're going to present this concept and vote on it at the meeting of the February 19th.
So I'm going to ask again. If you're going to the council to ask for them to do something, do you not have to have a dollar figure on how much that's going to cost to do those two things?
Wait, where's that slide?
It says prepare plans.
We have to authorize Lori Almond to prepare a cost estimate and to prepare the plans and see what it's going to cost. And
then there's no, we won't be incurring any cost for Lori to do that work?
The way it stands, if you read the letter from, what's his first name? Clemens.
Clemens one?
Yes, yes. The second page down at the bottom, it says that money is now legal to use to pay for, I don't have the exact language in front of me, to pay for design work and engineering costs and whatever. So that wouldn't be a township expense. It would come out of the open space money that we have.
Yeah, and it says there's 12 million available in the open space.
Yes.
But you still don't have an idea of what her fees would be to.
I have no idea. That's why we're
Well, okay.
so we'll find out.
Well, she should have, I mean, there should be a little, I'm not trying to be difficult at all, really.
No, I'm curious.
But they're probably, you know, she should have like a proposal of what her services are gonna be and how much they're gonna cost and what they cover.
That's what we're authorizing her to do. She's not gonna do that work if council doesn't want her to. She has to put a plan together.
Well, no, she should, when you're gonna incur that level of expense, I would expect her to say, for me to do this work, it'll be a $5,000 amount for me to do this work.
And we're not.
And then we would say, yes or no, we will cover your 5,000.
We're asking her to prepare that cost figure.
Okay, so you're asking her for the cost figure, that'll be
Speak into
separate
the
than
microphone. I can't
separate
hear
than A and B.
Anybody except Priscilla.
Okay. All right, let me go back to that slide.
It's on her audio.
So we're directing her to prepare the following plans. To prepare, and I guess its wording should be in here, but it's to prepare forget how Kathy said, an estimated proposal for the cost. She will be authorized to do that. Everything's not on here.
But I see her credentials that she said she's helped other places. She should be able to give me a ballpark figure of what it would cost, which I think council would probably want.
She's waiting to hear from council to outline what they want in the plan. Right now, it's open-ended. I mean, this is just
Okay.
us putting on paper what we think we may want. You know what I'm saying? I might go to the meeting and, somebody else might want something else. So we don't know how comprehensive the plan's gonna be.
I see. Oh,
You know what I'm saying? We know that the barn has to be restored, but we figured while we were doing that, we would also do the open space plan to facilitate and to expand it more towards the community. And so we don't know what projects are gonna be added to the list or deleted from the list. So we won't know that till we go to council to see if the concept is accepted. So once a concept is accepted, then they will direct her to, include different things. I don't know, am I helping?
Okay.
Okay.
No, I support the idea, group spaces of 75 people, are in big demand, and to have something, in one of the parks where people, an indoor facility where they could utilize that, that's a nice feature.
Okay. Let me find,
So I'm coming from a different perspective.
okay.
sorry.
Maybe you can explain some of this stuff to me. Slide. Slide.
I think you're probably gonna have to speak right into the mic, Jerry.
On your slide. Slide 5. The objectives that Saucon Valley Conservancy has. Are they being accomplished? They appear to me to be accomplished.
Well, we're trying, they're trying. What do you mean, they are? I mean,
Well, number one is to restore the Heller homestead and property. What is left except the barn to restore? I mean, we just spent all of this money on windows
Right.
for a widow house. We spent the money for the sidewalk. They painted the house. What other things are needed in order to completely restore it besides the barn?
I don't have that list in front of me. The township is responsible for fixing things. That's why they painted the windows and fixed the windows, and they're the property owner. The lease says that, the conservancy is supposed to do restoration projects as they have money. So, COVID really hit bad and, really put a hurting on a lot of nonprofits. So, I don't know, that's not really answering you, but I don't really know, Jerry. I just know that the barn's next on the list.
How about the second point, develop educational, recreational
No, the same slide you had,
by,
objectives, yeah.
which utilize historic significance and natural resources? So, I don't know, I read through all of this stuff and I have a lot of questions. It appears that there's steps that we're taking. This is step number 2. It appears that or plan number 1 has already been completed.
Of the barn arch.
No.
You're talking about the arch?
No, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. It's number 2. I thought there were different steps we were taking. Number 1 was clearing the area of debris. Taking all that stone out there. I know that the Public Works did this summer down there. They cleaned that whole area out, put the stone on the side. So part of that was also a stabilization that was supposed to be done. Was there a stabilization?
There
of
was
any-
no architectural plans to direct how that was supposed to be done. The concept was there, the want was there, but we needed somebody that knew what they were doing to tell us how to do it. Because we're all just volunteers.
How about the third objective? How successful has Saucon Valley Conservancy been in order to create more capital funding? Have they done anything?
Well, we had barn tours. And I left the organization, as president in, I don't know, what year did we leave? And, they had art shows and various ways of raising money.
So they have capital money to supplement some of this.
Well, how big is some of it?
Yeah, there's a.
I can't answer that
project.
question.
This is big.
Yeah,
You
and
think the
that's
ball
kind of
field
the
was a big
idea.
project? You're talking,
Yeah.
you're in a neighborhood of ballpark to do what they want. But anyway,
But having a goal of what you're trying to create,
Sure,
which would be what the
sure.
plan is for, would help with fundraising, so people can see, oh, we wanna
Exactly.
restore or create this outdoor space.
Yeah, we don't have
We
that
didn't
now.
have that, yeah, part.
how about slide 22? Active part of the site capable of hosting a variety of revenue-generating programs. Don't you think that this is a duplicate? A lot of these, most of them, are duplicates of programs we already have at our other parks. Maybe you can explain it to me. Movie nights, for example. We have new movie nights now at our parks in the summertime. So that's something we have. Exercise classes. We had exercise classes at our community center. I remember when Betty Tarquin used to use them, but there wasn't any interest and they weren't continued. So exercise class, music events. What kind of music events are we talking here?
Jerry, these were just ideas. I don't have the specifics. We was just sitting around a table like we are tonight thinking of, well, what could we do with this site? And, just because they're having someplace else doesn't mean we can't have them too. So, wedding pictures, people are always looking for a beautiful place to take wedding photos. And,
Well, I don't think we're gonna outdo the Hellertown Historic Society for taking wedding pictures. I mean, what would they take wedding pictures of here? An arch? That's about all we have. Well, they could take a picture in front of the house or something like that, but I'm sure they already do that.
I don't know.
On wedding ceremonies, I mean, in our parks, if the end result is for 75 people, we have the ability in our parks, 2 of our parks have double or triple that size of people that they can accommodate. So we have that stuff already. I don't see, I don't see the need for something like this because we have the things already. Dancing, I'm not sure what dancing is all about.
Well, that 75 people is inside the restored barn ruins. It's not counting outside space.
Right.
There's a lot of space outside for different programs, for nature and just different other activities that could be held.
Does the Saucon Valley Conservancy also run the grist mill?
No. It's a separate entity.
What is that one?
The grist mill is the Hellertown Historical Society. And then Lower Saucon Township Historical is the schoolhouse. And then the Heller Homestead is the Saucon Valley Conservancy.
I got it.
And also like nature programs, we already have, the Conservancy already has some nature programs. They have like the bird watching program and
I think the issue.
At our parks, we have sessions in the summertime where they do that. I mean, at correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, but out here at Lower Saucon, we have a program in the summer where they have lectures and stuff at, two different sessions. One is like identifying plants. They have 2 sessions, and then they have another one, or at least last year, in looking at past agendas.
I don't know.
I think that how it's used will develop, but the question is, you're looking for support from this team to say, this team supports this
Concept,
concept.
right, moving forward.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, Phil, is it's
Can
a
you hear
duplication.
me?
I can.
May I speak for a moment? I have 2 things. First of all, the only person I can hear is Priscilla. So I really beg each of you to speak directly into a microphone. The second thing is what I think I understand is that Priscilla is asking for the board to recommend to the council that they look into this and take the next step. And it seems to me that we don't need to know how it's going to end in order to say, yes, we want to take the next step. Now, maybe I'm not understanding because I haven't heard much, but that's what I wanted to say.
No.
Excuse me, can I say something? Am
Sure.
I allowed to speak?
But you need to go to the microphone at the podium and introduce yourself, please. Yeah, I know, it has to do with the phone.
Margaret Segline, Lower Saucon Township. In the past, I was involved with the Heller Homestead years ago, and in the past, what happened was because it belongs to the township, everybody had to approach the township for permission to do anything. And so that's all that's being done. It's just, and I don't know who's on the phone, but you're absolutely right. That's all this is. Just asking for somebody to say, this is how much I would quote for the work that, for the study that needs to be done to come up with a potential estimate. It's not really any more than that. As far as the activities that would go on in the barn, that's inside. And the venues that the township currently has available are not really technically inside. They're only covered by a roof, right? Because they have no walls, the ones that I think we're referring to on the outside. And so the barn would have walls, so that would be a benefit to having dancing and movies and things like that. Because I've been to the movies outdoors, and unfortunately, it was either too hot or it would start to rain, and then they'd have to close it down. So there's a definite advantage to having an indoor type venue like this. And if you rent it, there's a lot of money to be had. And the grist mill is doing well with renting out their space. And so that's really helped them a lot. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Margie.
Thank you, yep, thank you.
I guess Kathy and I will work on better language for that first slide with what to put on the council agenda. So thank you for that. This is the first stop, so learning here. So.
Any other comments? What slide do you have it written out, what you're exactly looking for this group to do?
Are we gonna go through that master site plan letter that we got?
I still have another real quick slide.
All right.
Why don't you do that? Yeah.
Okay, so the next part of this is the restoration phase 2. Go ahead. And again, like I said, I will definitely work on this, but bottom line is a support letter of some sort, supporting the concept of this. So, go ahead. And again, that's that picture that you saw before. That was stabilization phase 1, 2010. Go ahead. And that's what it looked like before, after the collapse in 1998. Go ahead. It's a Pennsylvania German barn. It was in the book, Pennsylvania German Barn by Dornbusch. It's a very popular book, and John Heil. Professor Bob Ensminger, who we owe so much gratitude and whatever. He was on the Saucon Valley Conservancy Board, well respected. And he also continued and rewrote that barn book. And they called him the godfather of Pennsylvania barns. So well respected man. We were very lucky to have him till he passed several years ago. Next slide. So one night I was strolling through the internet and I couldn't sleep, and I was all upset over the Meadows Road Bridge. So somehow I put in the Google thing, I must have typed stone barn instead of stone bridge. And up pops the library. I was in the Library of Congress. I was scared. I thought, oh no, I'm gonna be arrested. I'm gonna get in the Library of Congress. But anyway, in there were these 3 photographs, and they were from 1941. And they showed 3 views, and I kept looking at this barn thinking, I know this barn, I know this barn. Next slide, please. And you can see, it doesn't show on the thing. Why doesn't it show? Anyway, you see the first picture, and this thing is called a pent. And we always wondered, and I'll show you when we get to the other picture, but we always wondered why there was a hole in the arch. And we figured out that's how they connected the pent. And I'm looking, and I saw there was this like cross thing, like metal rod that they would put like to hold buildings together. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, I know that. Well, here, this is the Heller barn, but it was called Stone Barn in Hellertown. So these pictures were taken in 1941, and you can see the magnificent stone barn, but next to it was a frame barn. And this is the inside, and you can see the gigantic beams and wood and whatever that was inside. Here's another angle of it, and it was had to be a large farming operation for the size of these two buildings. And this was when the Geyers lived there. That was their playhouse, and they called it the Apaches. So I thought that was kind of cute. Next slide. And there's the pent roof. You can see anyway, you can read the slides, so go ahead. And there's, like I said, another picture of it. Go ahead. The inside again, and it's a type E in Northampton County. That was in that book. Go ahead. And then over the years, I've collected different pictures. I love this picture with it in the snow, and you can see an outbuilding. It's undated. I don't know where it came from. Go ahead. And again, there's that other picture with it represents a few revolutionary colonial farmsteads. Next slide. Another snow picture. Next slide. So now we start with when I got involved with the township in 1999. No, forget, I was a baby. 1988. Hovnanian was building Society Hill, and they had to give the township open space land to build their complex. And they gave us the 14 acres along the creek, which again had this beautiful barn, which had the size of a hole, about the size of a baseball, in the roof. And nobody would fix it, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger until half of it collapsed. And that picture was taken around 1993 by me. And that's the front of the barn. If you look, there's like cracks going down here, so it was kind of weak. Somebody, I've read a lot of stuff, there was a beam going across that they cut for the hay rick or something, and I think they weakened the barn when they did that. So they didn't know. So go ahead, next slide. That's the back. Go ahead. That's another picture of the front, and see these little holes? That's what the pent roof was hooked into. And this section here where the arch is, was an addition to this barn, because this was for wagons. So this was eventually filled in by whoever filled it in over the years. We know in 1941 it was filled in, but they would put wagons in there and that's how they would load them. So next slide. Again, that was another picture. Go ahead. And that's the other side. Go ahead. And then you come to February 26, 1998. I'll never forget this date. In the aftermath of a severe storm, a portion of the roof collapsed, deeming it a danger. The township decided to bring down all but 1/3 of the barn. Fortunately, the arch was saved from demolition and stands proudly among the ruins of this English Lake District barn in Saucon Valley. So go ahead. And you can see it was just gutted. The rest of it didn't really have to come down. That was a political decision, in my opinion, and I'll say that till I die. Next slide. And again, like you can see, most of the barn was still there, and this part that was weakened by the crack collapsed. Next slide. And there's that little hole again, which we finally figured out what it was. Next slide. And then all this stone was taken and put into the foundation of the wood barn. Go ahead. Go ahead. And that's just from one of the barn tours that we had with a little horse. Thought I'd throw him in there to say hi. Go ahead. So the barn tours, money raised was earmarked for the preservation, and we did use it to do phase 1 of the arch. Go ahead. And that's a better picture, I guess, over the years. But you see all the openings, the doorways and windows and everything. That was just, I think, too much for that front wall, you know? Go ahead. And then that was another outbuilding. Go ahead. And then Lock Ridge Furnace. It's beautiful there. And you see the ruins of this, like, you know, the possibilities are endless out there. What can happen to this barn? So go ahead. And this was something else that I found too, from Washington and Lee University. Go ahead. And then it's actually on the National Register now. Go ahead. And we're back to the barn. Go ahead. And I'm ready for questions. Join us and help us save another treasure. For more information or become a member, contact the Saucon Valley Conservancy. And again, thank you, but I'll take any more questions.
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I don't have a question.
In our packet was a letter that was written by the consultant. That was written by the consultant. What's her name,
Lori Ament.
Which is a very, very interesting letter in that it was written back in 24, mid-24. And do you have it in front of you? Because I have some questions. Actually, I think it's very good, and there's one point in it that should be highlighted in the conversation. But anyway, she makes statements in here about the Heller Homestead is the only county property without an outdoor gathering space. What is that?
She wrote the letter. I don't know. I can ask her.
And she makes her recommendations. Are we following her recommendations? I mean, we paid for this study. Are we following her recommendations?
Well, so far we are. I mean, we want to get into the nitty gritty when we get this expanded plan now, so.
One of the recommendation is to move forward with small, visible improvements, which sounds like a reasonable goal. And she makes points about the structure itself as it relates to those walls. I don't know how many people have been down there recently to see that site. Anybody down there? Have you been down there, Phil?
Yeah, since I saw this.
Okay. Did you notice anything catch your eye in there? as it relates.
Behind the fenced
Behind
section?
the arch, yeah, everything's behind the fence, right?
I was just interested in where all the stone would be,
Oh,
because that's a lot of stone.
but the condition of the walls, did you look at any conditions of the walls? And she points out here that they're all unstable. They certainly are, right? They're all unstable walls.
Well,
Yeah.
and they're deteriorating every day. We're not gonna have anything left if we don't do something soon.
All the walls would probably have to be rebuilt.
Oh, if you're gonna have it look like it did in those pictures, absolutely.
Which would mean you would have to put foundations in.
Not necessarily,
Well, that barn wasn't built on a foundation.
no. That's what I'm
So you
saying.
have
They're gonna
that foundation.
replicate how it was built originally.
Well, that be as it may. But her roadmap is the best part of this whole report. Best part. Develop a financial roadmap, all right? Points out, at this point, it appears the Heller Barn project may proceed with the following phases. And she goes through the stages. What stage or what phase are we at now?
Jerry, I don't have the letter in front of me, I'm sorry. We're at the phase where we,
He's talking about 3-4.
Phase 3, yeah. It's the best part of this whole report. They're telling you to engage with a cost estimator who can develop a budget for future phases of the Heller project.
right, that's part,
The cost estimator can provide cost, both design and construction, should include the following, right? At this point, it appears the Heller project may proceed with the following phases. Now, we got this letter at Saucon Valley Conservancy. What phase are we at? I mean, you're gonna go before council, and I imagine a couple of those fellows are really gonna rip this apart.
that she's gonna have an additional letter. This isn't her last letter. She's working on it now. So that's why I'm at a loss, because I'm not her and I don't have the other letter in front of me. This is just an initial letter. So she's gonna expand all these bullet points, and the cost estimator will look at what they've developed and then break it into phases so that we can proceed, with the money amounts that we need to get to the end.
But we haven't accomplished phase 1 yet. In her letter, we haven't accomplished, I mean.
Well, we did with the phase 1 for the arch, but now this is a new phase 1 with the other walls that surrounding the east side, the west side, the south side, that they're all crumbling.
So phase 1 was the arch.
Well,
That's done. And part of the phase 2, I envision, is removing all the debris. I would imagine she's gonna put phase 2 is something we accomplished so far.
she might need to renumber those phases, because you're bringing up a good point. We considered the arch as phase 1, you know what I'm saying? So that might need to be changed. I don't know, but the concept's there.
So when the arch, sorry. I'm working on it. Let's get better, I promise. I am. So phase 1 is that when you say the other masonry walls, the only part that's been stabilized is the actual arch. The remaining walls that are very limited up, I don't even want to call them walls, but the remaining part of that structure is what we were talking about for the emergency stabilization that she
Right.
has here for her first phase 1. And then the phase 2 would be build with the stone that's currently there. Okay.
Right.
I want to
See,
make sure
and
that
the
I
other-
understood
the other
that-
thing that needs
so
to be-
the arch and stabilization project has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight.
The other thing is, we have to do structural engineering to see how much load it can take. And we don't know that yet, you know what I'm saying? But there's methods that they can inject limestone mortar into spaces that have decayed over winter months with ice and, you know, all that kind of stuff to make it solid again without building a foundation.
Sandy, here's what the site looks like today. There's pictures.
I don't know whose this was.
That's what the site.
Okay, any other further discussion on that? The question is, do you want me to craft a letter, which I would be talking to Priscilla about, and what she wants in that letter to put before, to take with you to council, is that correct, Priscilla?
What's that?
Take that letter, is that something
If you vote on it
formal?
tonight and draft the letter and finalize it by the vote, and then we have, for our next meeting was, Carol, February 19th? So we'll need it the week before the 19th for the council packets, which is next week, right? Oh my God, it's coming around.
How would the board get to approve it though?
What? The boards, oh,
They wouldn't know what, we can vote, or they can vote to do a letter, but won't know what it is until it's written.
well, the concept,
What would we, Phil, what would we recommend? You would,
I would ask Priscilla for that writing
what writing?
of what, the actual wording of what she's looking for.
it could be very simple as supporting the concept of the, whatever that first slide was.
Right.
I know, they
Sorry,
fall
it keeps
apart.
falling off of the stand. So, and I am new, so I'm not trying to, but I would be somewhat, I would be willing to like make a motion that we write a letter of support for the proposal phase of this project.
Yes.
I would not be comfortable saying that I'm going to support the entire vision that is laid out here.
I understand that.
Because first of all, I think that would be the right step anyway, to look at it. So, I would be willing to like make a motion tonight that we write a letter in support of the proposal phase, and that it would help us determine the amount that would cost for the completed study as well as projected project costs.
Sandy, why wouldn't we just take a no position until we see the estimated cost? Why wouldn't we take a no position?
That is an option, but the option that we were given was whether or not to write a letter in support of the project. I'm willing to do step one of the proposal versus going more fully in as was originally proposed.
I second your first one. I second what you wrote.
It seems a moderate step to take, to
Yes.
look at the expense, get a feel just for the proposal, and then you can bring it back to us, and then we
Right,
can put a
right.
full letter of support and backing of the entire project at that point.
Supporting the project so far, but we don't know until we get to the next part and then
Until
come
we have
back.
an idea what we're really supporting, I don't feel
I
comfortable
don't
going
either.
any further.
We
And
don't
I
know.
wouldn't want to go to the council saying that I supported something that I don't even know what
Right.
I'm going to be supporting. So, write a letter that, yes, we support the investigation phase, proposal phase, whatever you want to call it, to determine the scope of work, the amount of work of Lori, the cost of her, which will ultimately deem the scope of work and cost of the full project.
That makes sense.
So we have a second?
Yes.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Present.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay.
We heard you, Maya.
Okay, so I will draft a letter. Is it common that I would send it out to this group before I submit it to council? Would that be copacetic? Sure. Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and I'm around for questions as normal.
Okay. Let's get back to our page. Thank you. Thank you for the work you put into that. Any citizen non-agenda items? Anyone want anything presented? We have no special events applications, so now what we do is we look at the parks. These are the parks that we're responsible for. And as you can see, Kevin is responsible for 2. If we want to have if somebody wants to change, let's talk about that. But, so we go first with Town Hall Park. Anything going on with Town Hall Park?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So Southeastern Park and Kingston Park, Kevin had. Do you know any of those?
I have no idea where
Yeah.
that park is.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah, I know where Southeastern, is that by?
the
No,
fire
I know where
company.
the fire station is.
Yep, it's right across the street
Okay,
from that.
so I know where that is. I have no idea where Kingston Park is.
Or Lutz Franklin, you know,
Lutz-
the Lutz Franklin School is
Oh, yes.
right behind her.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
small. You're talking
Tiny
Yeah.
one.
very small.
Okay.
Pavilion, what, holds probably about 45 people there at the Kingston. It's not a very big park.
Oh, yeah, if
I have
that,
not been there
if
since
that.
it's been the debate about moving it 30 years
Yeah.
ago.
Sandy?
I haven't been anywhere near that area until there was the huge debate with the school district
remember
about
that.
moving it and whether we were gonna move it to school district property.
I remember that.
And that's
Do
the
you
last
want,
time I've been.
do you want to be responsible for those 2?
I will take those 2 parks.
Okay, great. Thank you.
They're the farthest
Sandy.
from where I live, but I will gladly take them. I could walk to this park, you do know that, right?
Well, let's see which one. Well, wait,
I'm
who has
just
this one?
teasing,
Who has
Phil.
it? Who
I'll
has
tease-
this one?
I'll do it, no problem. It's good for me to get out.
I'm with the Sandra Yeager Community Recreation Area. I walk that regularly. And I had kept bringing up that they have these circle things. Well, I did get a report on what they're doing, and the concept is within that zone, they've used a herbicide or something, killed everything, and then they're planting the indigenous trees and things in there in the hope that as they grow, they will seed, and eventually the golf course will go back to the woods it once was. So there's a bunch of those out, and if you can see now, there's probably hundreds of little flags in. I don't quite know what all the flags are, but there is a company that is actively, from Quakertown, I want to say, who's actively pursuing regenerating the plants in that area. That's what that is. Sean is not here, Robert's not here. Jerry, Easton Road Ballpark. Anything happening?
Yes, things are happening there. The residents are up in arms there. I was out as recently as this afternoon, and I spoke to at least.
Can you speak into your microphone?
Yes, I was out there as recently as today, and the residents are quite up in arms about what's going to happen out there. They were approached by the township to buy part of their, I may be stating this incorrectly, purchase their road, all right? They wanted to purchase the road that leads up to the ball field, adjacent to the ball field, not to the ball field, adjacent to the ball field. Of course, they did not want to sell it. They have concerns, privacy concerns. Part of the privacy concerns, the township believes they'll be alleviated with the planting of arborvitaes along there. And people in council can probably chime in on this. They're gonna plant arborvitaes. Apparently they can't plant them now in the winter. They gotta wait till the ground thaws, and they're gonna be planting the arborvitaes. My personal feeling is it's not going to provide the needed comfort that they're going to need there for privacy. I mean, arborvitaes grow 2 to 3 feet a year, but probably the ones that they're going to plant are probably, I'd imagine, maybe 8 feet or 10 feet high. So they're still not going to have enough privacy. So they're still up in arms about that. They're concerned about the lighting. They have done a couple tests out there on the lighting, and the residents seem to feel that it's not going to be enough. There's going to be too much light shining into their houses.
There is an end, they cannot be, lights cannot be on after, is it 10 o'clock?
Here, 10 o'clock, yes.
In that facility?
Yeah, it's a park.
Yeah, but what are the rules there?
I don't
They
think
haven't
we
been
will
established?
They're dawn to
yet.
dusk, but I don't know. This is the only one that's lit.
This is the only one other than that,
That's
and the
light.
rules here are 10 o'clock, can't go past 10 o'clock. There's a timer, and they can't go past it.
Even the basketball courts, right?
There's a timer for the
Right,
basketball
right.
courts, there's a switch for
Right.
the lights here, but 10 o'clock is the max.
Okay.
Well, I'm upset over the lights, and I continue to be vocal about this. And I know they're looking into it, and they're trying to come up. The trees, like Jerry said, it's just not gonna cut it. And I feel bad for them, and I told Carol, I'm repeating this, I told Carol last week, I said, what's the rules on, like scheduling field time, like out there? Because I said, like, what are the hours? And if they're gonna go past dark, I don't want them playing baseball there, because when it's dark, the lights go off. I mean, the lights shouldn't be on anyway. So the game should be scheduled during the daytime. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the light's gonna interfere with the people's houses. So they should not be turned on at all until they get fixed. So it'll give incentive to get fixed. But I will not support having games out there while the lights are shining in people's houses. And it has to go to council, and I'm gonna ask to put that on the agenda.
Okay.
I don't know, and it's not, I'm not against kids, I want them to play, but it's not
Right.
inconveniencing the residents, sorry.
Well, I know you can't comment on this as a council member, but I understand, and at least the person I talked to today, I think at least one of them was approached about buying their property. I know you can't, it's executive session stuff, but from what I read, it appears that they're gonna approach people that are adjacent to the ball field to buy their property, open space money. But that's just my supposition. But at least one of the persons thought they were approached about it already. The only other thing in the contracts where I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, the contracts with Hellertown Little League for using the field were already put in place, so contracts.
It's not gone out yet.
Oh, the contract doesn't? I thought I read something.
I haven't had time, we don't have a receptionist now, so making up for more
So
work.
will you be sending a contract to Little League as well as Diamondback?
They are part of Little League.
They are under the, how about Legion?
Legion is separate. They're not.
Legion expressed no interest in playing on that field?
I'm unaware of that. Again, the receptionist job was to do that, and I hope to have something out by the end of the week to them. But youth sports, as I stated before, youth sports, we get the contracts, they don't pay for field space. Any other organizations do.
Okay, Jerry, can we move to Saucon Rail Trail with Maya? Well, I know there's been some movement on that.
Is Maya gonna have anything?
Maya, do you have anything to say about the Saucon Rail Trail?
No, I don't.
Okay. But there was movement of money that has been awarded.
Yeah, that's the that's the opener. I'm not quite sure what the status is of physically opening it, but the money's out there. It's just a case of signing some agreements with different people.
No, we're talking about the rail trail.
Yeah, the bathrooms on the trailhead?
No, well, there's the
Oh.
continue, hooking them up to the Bethlehem
Right.
Greenway or whatever. It seems like I saw there was some movement on that.
Yeah, there has been a movement. It's just a case of dotting
Okay.
the I and crossing the T with
Okay.
contracts. The other thing is, there was a dedication of the bridge down in
Yes.
Preston Lane.
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't get down there, it was a little too cold, I guess it was on Saturday, and it was pretty bad, so they have the Preston Lane bridge open.
Yeah.
That'll link the college, so the college kids riding bikes won't have to come down the road to be able to,
Right.
to get right on the rail trail. The other thing that they're gonna be doing is putting up the mileage markers along the trail. They finally got that to the point where they got the markers made, so I guess it's just the case that they're gonna be putting them out in the spring.
Okay. That's it?
Yeah.
Maya, do you have anything on the Heller Homestead Park, which we've talked about, or invasive plant inventory?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. New business. Now, I saw that this is at the very end of the packet. I thought it was maybe funding for the barn project. I thought they were connected. But that was added and put in there for our own information, Carol?
Yes. Just, yeah,
That grants are
I can
available.
know just to kind of go over what it was, you wanted to include there.
Who wanted to include?
Kathy.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice to know there's grants available.
What is the
Big chunk
grant?
of grants.
I'm sorry, Bill.
Go ahead.
What is the grant that's open and outstanding? Is that the one for Polk Valley Park? She says there's a grant outstanding. Is that the one that's expected to be finished? Is that for, I thought the pickleball courts would have been paid by now.
They haven't been paved yet. They were scheduled to be paved in spring, so.
Oh, okay, so that's probably the one that it is, till they pay it. So after that is complete, we have the ability to apply for grants, but not until that final payment is made. So that's something we want to keep on the board, Phil, for grant.
Yeah, I think I mean, I was impressed with it.
Why?
I don't know, is there someone do people from this team request grants, or is that something that the administration has someone who?
If you have an idea of where you would like to see something done,
Yeah,
that's definitely something that you would pass on, you would talk about, pass on to Kathy.
Okay.
So she would be able
I
to
got
apply
you.
for the grant.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you specifically would need to know what you want to do and where you would, see fit, I guess.
In light of that, Phil, and the presentation that Priscilla gave, why wouldn't Saucon Valley Conservancy consider an application for a grant?
Down the line, they are going to, yes.
Oh, but at this
Available.
point, they're not. I guess you'd have to do that within a certain amount of time because the grants will be closing at a certain time, won't they?
So when you're saying what specific grant are you talking about?
Well, any grant that's available. I mean,
In our packet, there was,
Yeah, I saw there was a letter from,
it's who is eligible and
I don't
nonprofit.
think they would fall under this category.
oh, they won.
No, I don't.
They're a
Because
nonprofit.
they're-
They're a
yeah,
401. They're a nonprofit.
There are different stipulations, and I don't believe that they would qualify under these grants.
Okay.
Well, it says nonprofit. County, municipal, nonprofit, land trust.
Yeah, but
They're
it's,
nonprofit.
yeah, but I don't think it's county and it's not municipal, it's its own.
If they have a separate line item. Is it a 5013C?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something to look into.
It's not on their list right now, this is on the list. There's only a few handful.
So you'd have so it's possible that they could have a grant and township could have a grant too at the same time.
Combined?
Mhm. So that's more FYI information, I would take it? Okay, great. We have a list, I think it's the very last page, of the upcoming meetings.
Well, I have a question on that, the information that was provided is Phil. What is, this year we have, it's budgeted, and you people from council can probably straighten me out on this. They have budgeted Polk Valley Park Trail, $100,000.
I think there's some paving, are they paving something?
I don't remember, it's in the budget, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think there's some paved trail in Polk Valley Park, if I recall.
But where is that, wait, where's that?
It's in the packet.
That
Remember,
is
Carol?
distributed to us?
Yeah, it's here.
As well as Southeastern Park. What's the 100,000 at Southeastern Park? I mean,
Okay, I
maybe
didn't see
somebody else
It's
on
after
Parks
this
and
one,
Recs
yeah.
knows
Yeah,
this,
it's
but
not-
I'm
it's
wondering
not
what the
in
heck,
the one that
what the
came
heck that's all about.
Yeah.
What's in the budget for $100,000 and we're not aware of it? Who has?
Polk Valley Park Trail.
And also Southeastern.
That's a good point, Jerry.
Look it up.
Is there a plan that you guys have that you use this to allocate it for budgetary purposes?
I'd have to go back and look in the budget, because I don't recall anything specific. It
Well, I
would
looked in
have
the
already
budget and
been.
I can't find it. I can't
Yeah.
find it.
Kathy usually does the grants,
Yeah. Can I say something?
Do I identify myself again?
Please.
Second line, Lower Saucon Township. It may have to do with the fire department, just an idea, because maybe for some reason it wasn't identified, but isn't that where the fire department is that needs to have funding for building now?
No, this isn't under that account.
I
It's
don't
under a
think it would
different
be
account.
under DC, I think it would be a different place.
Laura, is that something you can find out for us? That
Yeah,
we're
I'm
putting
gonna
on an action item? So we'll have
ask
two
about
action
these
items,
two.
as far as I know. One, I write a letter, and two, we'll find out about those
I'll
two.
find out
That's a
about
good
these
point.
two park
Yeah.
monies.
Because that's nice to have. We can spend that for help.
Or even what the whole plan is.
Yeah, where it came up
Well,
with.
that's the thing is, you
Yeah,
have
where
to
it
have a
came up.
plan and you have to have it prepared ahead of time.
Yeah.
So when these grants are available, you look at a list and say, that one.
Okay, so that's a second action item we'll have tonight.
Not only that, but what are the other figures that are in there? How about 26? You know,
I have that down for her to investigate for us.
26. So we need some detail on that.
Yes.
Maybe we're not,
What's the plan is what I wrote down in
maybe
my
we're not
notes.
doing nothing, anything.
We'll find out. Thank you.
On the very last page is the future dates. FYI, just take a look at that. Next month, we're back here, March 3rd, April 7th, and then we have the ones we do on site. There is no July meeting. And so if you can put those into your calendars, that would be appreciated.
And once you approve them, I know they were approved last
Yeah,
month, but
yeah.
if you approve them again, I'll do the ad for the paper.
Okay. Do you have a motion to
Sunshine
approve?
I move that we approve recreation dates.
Second?
Yes. Yes, I second.
Nilu seconds. All in favor?
September 8th.
Say aye.
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 Okay, all opposed? Carries. The last thing on the
Going
agenda.
back, Phil, with Kathy's memo, she says do we have anything to recommend projects for grants? Now, we know the one is being completed this year, but why wouldn't we say, yes, we have interest in a project? Do we have any projects? I have some ideas.
Isn't there also the invasive trees project?
Well, it's not I'm talking about
Yeah, we don't
projects
have
that need
like a
funding.
detailed plan yet though, so it's hard to
Yeah.
ask, can't really get
Yeah.
funding for something that doesn't have a clear definition or cost. We were gonna do our inventory first of that with, volunteer labor,
Okay.
I believe.
But Phil, don't we have any other projects? We made a wish list. What
Well,
did we make
these
that-
are the two things I'd suggest we have in a packet for next meeting. One is, I haven't seen the questionnaire. And if we can get that from Kevin,
It's at
It's here.
at the back.
It's here.
of what?
But it
Was it
wasn't
handed,
emailed to him.
it wasn't handed out before the meeting? I really don't like to look at stuff that wasn't handed out to us before the meeting.
I don't know, I sent it as soon as I was asked for it.
Well, no, I mean, my note, I mean, the minutes say it was gonna happen sometime in December. It happened.
Kevin was supposed to meet with me and that didn't happen.
Okay, yeah.
Laura did send me the final copy of the survey last week. I did work on it today. Kevin did send me the final copy today, but I needed somebody to help me. Because I wanted your ideas and incorporated in this as far as, the check boxes and everything. So I did go ahead and I sent Laura, I sent you at 5 o'clock, I sent you a copy of the survey that I did on SurveyMonkey. And I don't expect you to see it, but I can, if you want to look it over.
Yeah, I propose that this would be our third action item, that you would look at this and be prepared next meeting to make suggestions and then we'll execute how we're going to make sure we execute on getting this out to the public and getting some information back.
I'm at the stage now where I already have dates set on it. So I can send you a copy. You can see how it works. I wanted to make sure it worked. Checking boxes and
Yeah, yeah.
answering yes or no and adding comments.
That works.
So there's only one question that I have a problem with. But Laura, if you can look at it, I'll send you a copy of it too so that you can see how it is. We could set dates on it. You said 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think we were gonna
Right.
go 3 weeks.
So we can get it up and running before the next meeting, I'm thinking. And that's up to you, unless you want to wait until next month, to
Yeah.
round with it or.
Carol,
I know we
isn't
wanted
that,
to coordinate it with newsletter possibly, but I don't know what the date's gonna be on that and.
Newsletter is moving along now.
and the Facebook post and constant, we were gonna try to coordinate an effort where it went out in however many ways we could get it out.
Yeah.
So if you want to wait until the newsletter, that will give us more time. I mean, Stacy's working on that and, we're all working on that. But we
Okay.
can coordinate it so that it just takes time. I mean, the newsletter
Yeah.
is, right now it's in the stage of, we're putting articles in and getting that done. And then it's, 2 weeks at the printers for, they have to
Yeah.
do what they do. And then to get it out to residents, that's, another week. So
And
if
that
you
comes
want to
out,
wait
how
until.
often does that come out?
Well, this is the last one in print that we'll be doing. And we're gonna advertise it on the newsletter. I think it's on
okay.
the back on a, code, that it is the last one in print. So we're gonna advertise that everywhere. But then it'll only be online.
And how often does it, when's the last one that came out before that one?
I don't know if it was spring,
So it's nothing set, like 4 times a year, 3 times a year, or something
2 to
like that?
3 times a year, I can say honestly
Okay.
it gets done.
And do we know when that last print one is specifically going out?
Soonish.
That's a
Will it
good
be-
answer.
Will it be after our meeting in February, in March?
It should be before then. Not February, before March.
So you'd want to include this survey you want to include.
It should be off to print by then, so let me just say that.
Well,
Okay.
we're gonna use maybe a QR code in the newsletter.
Yeah.
There's one in there.
We're not putting the survey
Correct,
itself
correct.
in the.
Okay, wait. Nilu, you want to say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So number 3, how did you put number 3 in your question? That has a number in it.
You sent us the survey.
I
got it in
sent
my
you,
document.
I can give you a copy of
I
what
have a
I
copy
just
of it.
printed out.
So what do you recommend? Can we work on it as a homework from now until next week and done with it? You want to have actual physical meeting, then we approve it. What do you?
Well, if this is going to print before March, we should approve it now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 3 is not the one I had a problem with. Number 3, actually,
So you have a number. Because
yes.
I did it myself. So for me, I have to write 7, 6, 2. But in your version, we don't need to do that. I mean,
no, in my
okay.
version, I have, there are arrow buttons up and down.
Okay, they can choose the number.
You have to choose, and you have to physically click on those arrow
Number
buttons to
7,
bring it to
numbers,
where you
okay.
want, and it's 1 through 8.
Okay.
Because
So
there are 8 parks. or there are
children,
8
consider children under 12 or 18.
Good point.
Because I have 16 and 13, and I don't know. I put
Okay,
yes.
so you want to revise that?
No, I just want to make sure it's clear. If somebody asks us, I want to know what to say.
If you can deduct them on your taxes, they're children.
They're children, okay.
Under 18, I can put that in there, I can add that.
18.
18.
This is why I needed somebody to
18's
help me
good. 18's
do
good.
this.
So you're saying this is a QR code that will take you to this survey then?
That's for the newsletter, that's what we
Yeah,
would do.
yeah.
Otherwise, there'll be a link,
And
the
a
survey,
link,
yeah.
Yeah, when they post it for Facebook or send out.
Contact Facebook, it'll be a link that will take you to the site, correct?
Yeah.
So am I removing that action stuff for?
Yes.
Just
Yep.
related to the part.
The one that I had a problem with,
Number one, before I forget, number 8 and 9 to me they're the same. I mean, I don't know. It's number 1 suggestion and then additional thought. I mean, we are talking about busy, you know.
Say again, which two?
Number 8 and 9, they're pretty much the same.
Well, it's always nice to have end with, say whatever you want to say.
What
But-
question?
9. I understand. I hear what you're saying. I mean, I would let them there if people
Yeah,
want to
that's
use
fine.
them. If people want to
Yeah.
use them, they use them. So Carol, what was your issue that you need?
my issue was with, I believe it was number 3, when people rate it, you have, feel free to explain your ratings below. So I couldn't create a comment section under that, which I wanted to do, that's what you wanted to do, and I can't. So I can just make it question number 4 and just bump them down and have a comment section referring to question number 3. Why did you answer, why did you explain your ratings? So if that's okay, I'll do that, and it'll be 10 questions instead of 9.
That's fine.
Okay. So then you want to change number 9? You want to change that? No? You're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
Okay, and the thing is, we can tweak it as, if we were not getting the information we want, then we might need to tweak it down the road.
For a future survey, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
For another 10 years.
For a future.
It's fine with me.
No. You can always tweak it.
But Laura, if you could look at that and then give me your feedback on color and such, and then Phil, I'll send it to you. I can send it to everybody here, but.
I think you also I'm not loud enough. Number 5 should have a time frame. Did you visit a park in the past year with your children? Like
Everybody's in
forever.
agreement.
Yes.
Past year.
Yeah, past year.
Right,
Yeah,
like I
that's-
haven't gone because my
Past
kids
year.
are 30, but yeah.
Know that you didn't go to Kingston
I
Park,
know,
so.
Kingston Park, so you know that I haven't been 30
So you
years.
got to rate low, don't rate
It's an
low.
interesting little postage stamp right there.
Okay.
Okay, I can revise that, and then Laura, I'll send you a revision, so you don't necessarily have to open the one I sent you, but I'll send the revised one, and then we could play with it and make sure everything works. That's what I wanted to make sure before I send it.
Monkey survey you're doing? Monkey
Survey monkey.
Survey monkey.
Yep.
Monkey survey.
It's getting that time when you have to do homework, right? Oh, I remember those days. Any other, for the good of the whole, any other comments? Or Nick, go ahead.
Do we want to reflect all on what Kathy sent? Does anybody want to propose
Yeah, that's
submit,
what,
should I put down that if anybody has ideas, they should submit to Kathy before the next meeting, or you want, I just want to acknowledge, Phil, that you brought that up twice. Do you want to,
yes, I have some ideas.
okay, so you
If
can.
grant money's out there, I certainly have
Okay,
ideas.
so that'll be another to-do thing, to submit to Carol?
Well, we can bring it here first.
Yes.
We can make it a
Wanna talk
part
about
of,
it
we're
now?
making it a
Yes.
part of
Why don't
next
we
meeting.
do it now?
It's 8 o'clock.
Yes.
What's that mean?
It's
Yeah,
too
we
long.
wanna think about it.
I'm on that grant, so you,
Yeah.
We
you
have time?
could,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put down prepare to discuss. Is that
Why,
good?
would you like to stay here till 3 in the morning or something like that?
Well, I don't think discussing this is gonna take over 5 minutes, Phil. It's not a case of saying, hey, it's 8 o'clock.
No, I think I would like to do some, because I know what I want to do at my place, that I'd be glad to get that list
Get
together.
that list. Okay, I will put that down on the list.
So
So we have
everybody that,
4
And,
actions.
and if, do you wanna send that to me and we can send it out so that people know exactly what's expected?
I plan on doing.
Great, thank you very much. Going once, going twice, you're good? We're good? Everyone's good? Okay, next meeting is,
motion to
oh,
adjourn.
we need a
Motion to adjourn.
second, is there a second?
There's one question from the audience.
Oh, okay. Yes, please come to the microphone.
We'll hold on to that motion.
Here earlier, if there was a comment section, I stepped out for a second.
Yep, no problem.
My question was for the ball field.
Your name, just state your name so I know.
David Ross, I'm a non-resident. My question was, the lighting, is there like anything, there's a blueprint. Is there a blueprint for the lighting system to see how far the range of the beams go out and how to set them up like a standard in a regular ball field? Because I've been around in other football fields in high schools, and I kind of see the lights like right at the bleachers, and they have row homes right on the other side, and they're all dark. I mean, them lights aren't going past the bleachers on both sides. There's housing on the other side of all sides of a football field that I've seen, and I've seen darkness. And I've seen pictures of the people that have lived next to this ball field on Eastern Road, and it lights up through the whole house out the back. I'm surprised that they can't control that lighting, because I've seen some lighting where, even in your own basketball, like we mentioned, this basketball court, it's dark outside that court, but when they're playing ball, they're all lit up right there. If you look at it, like you have your standard lighting that lights up your area to park, but right outside that shell there, it's pretty dark. So I don't see why they can't control that lighting to aim it.
Has the checklist been completed? Did they sign off on the checklist? There's usually a final checklist.
Not that I'm aware of, I don't know.
So I would imagine that they would have to do that first.
I don't know what the status is of that.
The punch list.
Yes, the punch list, correct.
My other question, handicap, I mean, there's a hill. I mean, I'm sure there's railing, because it has to be a certain railing, a certain distance, diameter, whatever people have to walk down if they're elderly or disabled. Has that ever been, I believe there's not a handrail there for the disabled, because that's a hill, I can see somebody.
I believe that Park and Rec went over this, Jerry.
yeah,
They're
I
ADA
checked
compliant.
into that. It is ADA compliant. It is.
Okay.
I checked it specifically. I checked engineering drawings. I checked everything else. I made exactly that recommendation on our punch list,
Yeah,
that we should have a railing up there. That's
Yeah.
one of the items we
yeah,
have on there.
absolutely.
You know, you're talking about a railing
That's-
against the wall.
I-
I
I'd
agree.
push somebody already in a wheelchair up. I can imagine coming down, how to hold
Yeah.
somebody, not to say you'd be holding on to a hand railing, but just an elderly person walking down that hill, I would like to see. I would thought it would have been a recommendation for, you're gonna have a lot of kids, grandparents are gonna be watching their grandkids, so I'm surprised the township wouldn't put that on their list, you know, just not to just go to the standard a little above, so.
How do we make sure the lighting does not fall on deaf ears?
I keep talking about it. Carol, do I not talk about it?
Council?
Well, you were, not to interrupt, you had said you were scheduling already, ball things happening? Okay, because if you are scheduling, they're thinking already that they're having a night game. So I would just make sure before council says
We can't technically open the field until everything on
everything's
the
signed off.
checklist
I
is
believe so,
completed,
okay.
right?
Yep, okay.
Right now, I mean, within the next week or so, I'll be getting the information out for them to get the contracts back to us. But it's not that, they won't take the field until the field is open, and that doesn't happen until Mother Nature's ready.
Okay.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, but everything I think on the checklist would have to be completed before that field gets open.
And who's controlling the checklist? Where is that?
Hanover.
Hanover, I think.
But how do they get, are they aware of our concerns, and especially an idea that maybe there are other types of lighting that,
After that meeting in September, was it September? I think Hanover got involved and was working on it. I don't.
Yeah, Roger met with them out there and he tried to do the adjustments. Rossage, along with Hanover and contractor, met out there. They did some adjustments and fine tuning, but I don't think.
And I would imagine that
I
would
don't think
happen
they
here
were
too,
They weren't
adjustments and
enough.
fine tuning.
so do you feel that you can be in touch with Roger to make sure someone's staying on this issue?
Yeah, I can touch base with them if that's what you want me to do.
Yeah, let's make sure that stays on the checklist that,
Okay.
because that's not fair to the residents who are living right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
I recommended to the residents that I talked to today that they write a letter to Kathy and ask them to include it in the meeting. Maybe something will happen, maybe it won't, but I said it's not gonna hurt you to go on record. What you feel might happen out there as far as your privacy. Once they start playing and you see, hey, that is a problem, you can at least say, I told you so. But, that's all they can do. I said, you can come to council meetings and speak up. But all of them said, I'm not a person that wants to get up before council and be belittled.
Me either.
But I can, I'll check with
Do we have a motion to end the meeting? You did motion, second?
Yes.
Nilu seconds, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? We're good to go. What? Okay, please.
Thanks, everybody.
On the list of the people